This is Renee and welcome to my little world. If you have seen last week's video, you will know that I completed my first ever K-pop journal. It's a pretty thick boy, as you can see. He gained a lot of weight, which is very cool to see, but let me show you what's inside. Let me skip the first page because that's where my personal info is. Here is the index, and at some point I had to write on the back as well because it didn't fit anymore. But here is the first page, and as you can see, I started it on April 30 of 2020 and I finished it on November 6th, 2021. And you will probably, if you watch my channel, have seen this video where I make this spread. I really like this spread. Even though it's very simple and not very complicated creativity wise, I still really like this. Then I tried some watercolors. You can see I was very excited that I managed to get the BTS Map of the Soul Special Edition light stick. So I made a spread about that. Surprisingly, this journal held up watercolor okay, but I think that this is my first and last piece with watercolors in this journal. Then I also made a video about this. Looking back on this, I am not very satisfied with how these spreads look. I had a lot of fun making these spreads, but looking back on it, I was like, okay, I'm glad that I have learned from this and that I kind of made a style for myself. At least I tried to make a style for myself. And this spread was kind of a cool attempt. I mean, I really like the cutout things that I managed to do, but my printer was literally giving up on itself, and you can really see that in the pictures that I printed out, which is very unfortunate, but it was still okay. And this is actually the first spread that I ever made that I really liked in this journal, and I was very proud about. I really liked the clouds that I made. They were also in the music video as well. And I also really liked the dragon because I tried to recreate some of the scenes of the music video, which IU rides on a dragon at some point, which I really liked. I made this spread with kind of leftover paper, so I kind of winged it. It's not my favorite, but I don't hate it either. Then this is when I tried out this kind of style, I would call it. I really liked doing this, and I think I did this more after doing this spread in this journal, cutting out a bigger and then copying it but sizing it down. I really thought that it was cute, but I really like this, and of course it's hobbycore, so it's right up my alley. Then another spread about J-Hope, because at that time J-Hope was my ultimate bias. He is now my bias together with RM. But I really love when J-Hope's ears just fold. It's so cute. I could literally cry over this, I swear. This is where I didn't really pay attention to writing in the journal necessarily. I really focused on collaging the first few spreads, as you can see, but I was really scared to actually write in my journal because I didn't really like my handwriting. I didn't want to ruin the spreads with my handwriting. I feel different about that now. I mean, my handwriting is still not as pretty as I would like it to be, but it's okay. I've grown, and I was very insecure about my handwriting at this point in time, but I really like this spread. And here is the tinier version again, and here a goblin reference, of course. Then this is another spread that I did a video about, where I did the one color challenge. This was supposed to be a series, but I never really did anything after this one episode. I really need to pick this up because I was very excited to make a series about maybe my favorite artists, my favorite solo K-pop artists and my favorite groups and stuff like that. But for some reason I never went beyond this point. But I still really like the spread, and here's the tinier version again. just had to put that in. I really like that. It became an obsession for me. I really still love this spread. I really like the stitching that I did here and the black and white vibe, the different moons. I'm satisfied with this spread, even though it still doesn't have any of my normal writing in it. Here is when I decided to come over my fear of writing in my journal. At least I try to. And I really like the green. I have kind of a weakness for this particular shade of green, and I had a lot of fun making this spread. It's not that super interesting, but I still really like it. Then this is a letter that I wrote to BTS for their anniversary. I normally don't really do a lot of black and white spreads, like fully black and white, but I still like this. It's not my favorite, but it's okay. Then this is my first comeback with Dreamcatcher, as you can see by the title. And I fell into this deep hole of Dreamcatcher, as you know when you watch my channel. I love them so much. I literally decided to listen to all of their music one day before this comeback, so I was like diving head in first. And I still really like how this spread turned out. It's maybe a bit crowded, but I appreciate it. It has a special place in my heart because it's Dreamcatcher. Then this is a spread about the Butterfly Fantasy by Ace. I still really hate that this happened to Wow's face. I'm sad about that still. But I do really like the spacing. It's really balanced. I feel like the balance is there with this spread. Then this is the spread about LATASHÁ. I still really love this album. It's a shame that it's like the biggest photo book ever. So I don't have enough space for photo books that are this big, but I really love the different photo shoots inside of the photo book, and I really love the album, and I love LATASHÁ. She's an amazing artist, and I just really appreciate her. I still like how this one turned out. It's not super interesting, but I really like it. Then this is a spread about my favorite lyrics of the B album. I think I made a video about this as well. And this is when I really started to be like, okay, I don't care if my handwriting sucks. I'm just going to write down whatever. So I'm glad we see growth here. We like that. We like to see that. Then this is a slice of my 2020 playlist. And I really like this idea. It was very cute. I'm not sure if my idea that I had in my head is really like coming through in this page, but I still really had a lot of fun working on this spread. It doesn't really look that interesting when I look back on it, but I still really like what I was trying to go for. Then this is one of my favorite spreads of this K-pop journal, hands down. I really had so much fun, like trying to make different hand lettering styles for the different songs on the albums, and I tried to go for hand lettering fonts because I use like fonts from dafont.com kind of as a guideline. I tried to like recreate those fonts, and I tried to go for fonts that were close to the names of the different songs. So for Retro, I tried to go for a font that was called Retro, for instance. And I really had a lot of fun like trying to dissect the different fonts, and I also really like the color scheme. I like the different shapes because those different shapes are also in the albums itself. So I really like that it's like coming all full circle. Now this is also definitely one of my favorites of this K-pop journal. I like the gold details, I like the hand lettering, it's so cool, and I just really like how this spread came out. And I also really like this spread. I think we're on like a streak of different spreads that I really like in this journal. I really like these stickers. My mom found them somewhere in the house and she was like, "Hey, Renee, are these like something for you that you would like to have? Because otherwise I will throw them away." And I was like, "No, throw them to me. I could use them." And I really liked her blue hair, so I really wanted to incorporate that into this spread somehow. Here is a spread that doesn't have any hand lettering or writing in it because these are stickers. But I really liked going with kind of a yin and yang vibe. And this spread is inspired by the Dream Reality song on the album. And I really like this spread. I really like the differences and the contrast. Then I made this spread for J-Hope's birthday. I tried to be inspired by the song Blue Side, but that song is way too calm for whatever is happening here, so I'm not really sure if I managed to accomplish what I wanted, but I still really like this spread. Then this is another BB spread. I don't really like how the hand lettering turned out. Is really wonky, but it was still a fun spread to do. Then here is a spread about one of my favorites, if not my favorite song on the B album, which is Stay, sung by RM, Jungkook, and Jin. I also really like this spread. I really like the fish, which is something that also is seen in the music video. And I just wanted to do a daydream spread, and I really like this giant J-Hope on the forefront. I really like it when I do this kind of big visual, like in the middle or on the forefront. So I really like it. Then this is my first ever chit chat K-pop journal video. And I was talking about my first ever K-pop concert, which is the G-Dragon concert in 2017. And I like this spread. Then this is also one of my favorite spreads in this journal because it's really colorful. I really like the spacing. I left enough space to write about the song. I really like that the title is like here. I also really liked that I went with the different beers, which is also like a detail from the music video. And I feel like this spread is like well-rounded and in balance for me. I really like it. Then this is not K-pop related, but I mean K-dramas are also like suitable for a K-pop journal. So I watched the drama Crash Landing on You, which is a drama that I watched for the first time, and I haven't really watched dramas in years, but my friend Denny recommended it to me and I really liked this K-drama. Then I made this spread for our bad boy Min Yoongi, and I wanted to kind of show his two sides, like the sassy bad boy side and the cute round cheek gummy smile side. So, and I feel like I managed to accomplish that goal. Then this is the first spread where I did a Dutch door. I didn't really like doing a Dutch door in this journal, so this is also my last spread with a Dutch door. But this is the spread where I talk about my favorite songs of Dreamcatcher, which is like a huge list. But I really liked creating this like Dreamcatcher involving the design of the light stick. And this is my spread about Lilac. I bought this album, I really love this album, so I just had to make a spread about it. And there's just something very, very calming about these different concept photos, so I really had to make a spread about that. And I also really like how the hand lettering in this spread came out. And here's another spread about Lilac, but this one is about the two music videos, Lilac and Coin, and I wanted to kind of talk about the things that I like in those two different music videos. Then this is a spread about the first mini album Into Violet by Purple Kiss. I really liked their different songs that they released before their debut. So when their album came out, I just had to give it a listen because I literally liked all of the pre-debut songs. So, and I really like this album, and I also really like how this spread came out. Then here is another spread where I did the hand lettering thing. I used the stickers of the album in here, and I had to add a Junghyun as well because it's just something that I just have to do whenever I make a shiny spread. It just lives on forever in my heart. Then this is when I started my little series about the different journaling styles of the BTS members, and this is the spread that I made for Namjoon. If I could do this again, I probably would have done it differently. Like, not that what I said in the video that I made would change, but I would kind of rearrange things in this spread. Then here is a spread about the first physical album by BB, which I really like. I just had to make a spread about it because I really like the album, and I'm so glad that I could buy the album because I was waiting for a physical album. I really wanted to have an album of her. Then this is the journal style of Seokjin. I really like this spread. I don't really have much to add to it. It's just, I think it's very cute. I still like it. Then this is the one for Yoongi. I also really like this. I really like the collaging style that I did on this spread. I think it suits him. Then this is my favorite of the journaling style series, and I mean, you can see why. It's one about J-Hope, which is one of my favorite members, and two, it's definitely my style. I really love the colorful spreads, and I really like busy spreads, and I really like the hobbycore style and aesthetic, so this was just amazing to do for me. I really had so much fun doing this spread. Then this is a spread about the Butter comeback. It's not that very interesting. I don't really like how empty it feels to me. It doesn't really suit me, but it's alright. Then this is another spread that I did about the ARMY playlist that BTS made, and I really liked having pictures like sideways. I never do that, and I was like, oh, this is kind of a cool concept. I should do it more, and then I never did it again. And this is a spread about how I am not a girl group stan yet. I have been listening to a lot of girl groups. For some reason, I always was kind of a mixed group lover. Then I fully became a boy group lover, and now I'm just back to loving both again. But like, I have been getting into so many girl groups lately. I just really love all of the different music that they brought out this year. Then here's the journaling style for Jimin. I do really like this spread, but I'm still not convinced that this is completely how he would journal. It feels more like my spread than Jimin's spread, but I still really like the photos that I used, and that's something that I really do believe that he is going to do if he were to have a journal. Then this is Taehyung's journal style, and I just have a thing for this particular color of brown, and so I immediately love this spread because of that. Then this is the one for Jungkook. This one I personally like less, but that's only because of the color scheme. I didn't feel too much for the color scheme now that I'm looking back on it, but I do think that it suits Jungkook, and that was what's most important. Then here I made a very messy but so fun spread for Jungkook's birthday, and I just wanted to display his messy mind, and I think that I succeeded because what is this? I really like the spread. Then I made this spread for Namjoon's birthday, and this spread is all about Namjoonging, and I didn't want to write anything in this spread, so I just kept it very peaceful. Then this is a spread about STAYC. I really love their music. I recently bought their album Stereotype. I fell in love with ASAP so hard. I already liked So Bad, and then when ASAP came out, I was just obsessed. I listened to that song like every day. I really love their music. I don't know what to say. I just had to make a spread about them. And this is a spread about Pink Fantasy. I really loved their album Alice in Wonderland. I saw their music video for Poison and I immediately was intrigued because it was kind of like the vibe of Dreamcatcher. At least it reminded me of Dreamcatcher. I'm not saying that they're copying Dreamcatcher, but I just really like songs with that kind of vibe. And I immediately checked out their full album and I was just like, I need to buy this. So I bought it and here is a spread about it. Then this is a spread about Taehyung. I recently got into her music. I decided to try it out after years and I finally gave her music a chance and surprisingly I really love it. I didn't think I would like her music that much because I normally don't particularly like listening to a lot of ballads, but there's just something about her voice that really gets me emotional, and the way she conveys her emotion through her songs is amazing to me, and it made me fall down a rabbit hole. And I will probably in the future buy these two albums, like the repackaged albums of Purpose and My Voice. This is where we kind of go into the last video that I did, like last week's video. I made 4 spreads and this is the first one. This is one about Red, another album of one of the Mamamoo members that I really like. And I really liked the stickers. Like, these are stickers that were included in the album and I love these stickers. I really like that I mirrored the different shapes of the stickers, and that's a detail that I really want to take along with me when I start my second K-pop journal, because I really like that kind of details and I just really like this spread overall. This spread I am personally not that satisfied with. I tried to recreate the symbol that was on the sticker sheet of Eclipse. This is supposed to be a Eclipse and I don't really like the spacing of the stickers that I used. I could have done more, but that's my opinion. I really love this spread. Again, I have something with this big visual in the forefront that I really like. I normally don't really like spreads that are this muted and like have this little color in them, but for this spread, for some reason I really like it and I vibe with it. I really think it suits the album style too, and that's what I really like. It really gives off a calming vibe in my opinion. Then this is the last spread that I did for my last week's video. This is about the album of Young Yosop called Chocolate Box. And I really love this album. It's right up my alley. It kind of has this R&B vibes and I just really like his voice. Again, really like the green and the brown in this spread. Then my final spread, I thought of doing a reflection page and I wanted to kind of name the pros and cons of this journal and also the pros and cons of the different styles that I tried out in this journal and write down what I want to take away for my next journal. And as you can see, I gave this journal, like the journal itself, not necessarily the spreads, but the journal itself, a 2 out of 5 rating. I personally didn't really like the size of the journal, the soft cover and the round corners. And I also don't really like that the pages don't lie completely flat. When the end of the journal was near, it was getting harder for me to write very precisely on this page because it was getting so bulky. So that's something that I'm going to keep in mind when I buy a new journal or use a new journal. And that's it. Here's the folder again, and this is the back. And that's it for this flip through video. I hope you like this video. Stay hydrated, stay tuned, and until my next video. Bye!